Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Dadas Show, coming to you from Ma Hotel and Suites here in Nairobi. I'm your host, Ashiko Mbone. Now, as our name suggests, the Dadas Show aspires to promote the spirit of sisterhood and unity amongst Kenyan women. And we do this by creating an open and a safe platform for women to discuss any and all matters pertaining to their health, their lifestyle, their family, their career, among other topics. Today's topic of discussion is financial empowerment and stability. At a basic level, financial empowerment makes a woman feel more secure and respected, irrespective of her socio-economic background. This automatically has a real effect on not only the woman herself, but her family and society at large. More financially independent women mean a very progressive society that is healthier, is safer, and is less biased. Now, saving money and investing is one of the few tips that women can take in order to attain financial empowerment. This and other things are the things that we will be discussing today, joined by my wonderful, very respective panel of ladies who know a thing or 10 about financial empowerment. As always, we encourage you at home to take part in this and any other conversation. Keep this conversation going on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Share your thoughts, your opinions on this and any other topics. Before we get into today's conversation, let's take a look at the following feature.
Investing is a great way to manage your money and grow your wealth. Investing prepares you financially for eventualities like job loss, unexpected emergency, inflation, sickness, or retirement. Wealth does not come overnight. It requires one to save and then invest.
So to any woman, whether a single mom working or whatever you're doing, but a woman, it's understanding that this is the money that I have. Then how you're going to allocate it, in different ways of spending it, that is budgeting. So that is financial empowerment to a woman, just utilizing your money in a prudent manner.
Despite growing global efforts, women financial inclusion has made little progress over the past decade. It is through improving access, integrating women in economic development, usage and outcomes of financial services that women can realize economic empowerment.
To any woman who would want to invest, so investments are normally goal-oriented. So might want to invest maybe for an immediate need. That means you'll want to put in your money in a certain financial vehicle that will grow interests for you, as well as offer you liquidity for that immediate need. You wouldn't want to fix that money for a long period where you cannot access it. So first identifying your need, your goal. So you can itemize your goal in 4 divisions. One is immediate, between now and 6 months. Then the second will be a short-term goal. So it could be a goal between 1 year and 2 years. Then we have a medium-term goal, which is between 3 years to 5 years. And we have long-term goals, which are 5+ years. So your goal is what will determine where you're going to put in your money.
A report by World Bank shows only 31% of women ventured into male-dominated businesses, with 53% playing safe by venturing into female-dominated businesses, while another 28% prefer to operate in the high-stake sectors that attract both genders. In effort to improve women participation in business, in 2017, the government allocated 481 million shillings in funding, which up to 70% went to women businesses and 4% to businesses owned by disabled people. There are a number of investment opportunities that one needs to understand: their risk tolerance, the market needs, supply and demand, the regulatory ecosystem, customer needs, the competition, the issue of inflation as it affects the aspect of savings.
So some of the common mistakes that women can avoid to avoid being duped or conned of their hard-earned money is: one, you can seek an expert or seek advice from a financial advisor like me, who will advise you, like, based on your goals, these are the kind of places that you need to invest your monies in, because it offers you this and this tax benefit. Then the other mistake that women do is investing their money in unregulated financial vehicles. It could be, investments vary. You can invest your money in shares, in circles, or buying land and all that. But where you're putting your money, is that body in regulated? So you have to know, you have to find out whether it's regulated, and also check on the regulatory body's websites if it's listed there. Then the third mistake that women do is listening to each other, like chana na hiyo inakupatia ka interest kadogo, go for this that's giving you a very high interest, which can seem to be too good to be true. Then 6 months later, or even less than 2 years later, the investment just goes down, and it goes down with your hard-earned money. And also the fourth mistake is women, we are emotional beings. So in most cases we invest with emotions, and that could make women go into mistakes like not letting the investment mature. Because when it goes through the maturity phase, then you tend to get the actual benefits. But if you step out of the investment because of emotions, then you will lose your money. Yeah.
Financial independence for women starts with financial literacy. One needs to find out about money terms, investing, saving, and anything that feels foreign with finances.
Some of the things that any woman out there will need to look out before they invest is how much are they investing, the risk involved in that investment, and the time frame for that investment to yield back returns, and also the taxation around that investment. Yeah. Final advice to any woman looking out to investing is have your goals written down. That is what will determine where you're going to put in your money. But that way you're able to run through to the end. You're not going to lapse your investment in between.
Welcome back. Joining me today are experts in this particular field of financial literacy and empowerment. Right next to me, I have Miss Christine Gadhiuni, who is a certified planner and a trainer. Karibu sana. And next to her, I have Miss Krupa Rupani. Thank you so much for joining us. She's an independent financial advisor. And finally, I have Isabel Gitu, who is a financial advisor. As always, I would love to acknowledge and appreciate my wonderful audience for making time to sit here and join me as we discuss today's topic. Karibuni sana. So to start us off, Miss Christine, thank you so much, actually, for making time away from your busy schedule to sit with us on this panel as we discuss this very, very important topic, especially for the relevance of the women who are watching at home. Now, before we jump into the juicy stuff, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got involved in financial advisory services.
Thank you so much. I'm a financial planner, and I started off employed in the first independent financial advisory firm in Kenya in 2006. So this is my 17th year of practice. So I worked there for 5 years, and then I branched out into my own consulting. While consulting, I now branched into training, and that's what I'm doing up to now. Yes.
Thank you so, so much. We'll get back to you, and you'll tell us what your take has been over the years that you have been involved in this particular industry. What are the changes that you have seen, especially in regards to women getting empowered, financially empowered? But right now, let's look at you, Krupa. Krupa, did you always know that this is the line of work that you wanted to be in?
First of all, thank you, Ashiko. It's such an absolute pleasure being here today. I'm thrilled. Ashiko, when I was growing up, I was a normal teenager who went from being a supermodel to being a housewife to being a chef and the whole 9 yards. But I think while I was in the last few years of my education, I kind of knew I wanted to crunch numbers. And that is how my first job got me into life insurance, stock markets, investments, and here I am, 20 years later in my career, and I wake up every morning more passionate than ever.
That's wonderful and very encouraging. Now, Isabel, you know, we're talking financial empowerment, this, financial stability, this. You know, for those who are at home and they're wondering what we're talking about, please tell us, what do we mean by financial empowerment and stability?
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate. So we talk about financial empowerment and stability. Basically, you want to look at your status in terms of your money, your relationship with your money, and how well are you using your money and tracking, especially things like, for example, what you want to look at is expenses, you want to look at your income, you want to look at your debts, and you want to also look at your assets. So basically, a woman needs to be informed about the finances that they have or the money that you have. Everybody here, I'm sure, has a bit of income, either coming from unemployment or coming from business. So you want to know exactly how you're able to track and how long this money can be able to take you. Assuming something has happened and you need an emergency, how well empowered are you? So basically that is what it means. And of course, stability, that was a bit of empowerment. So empowerment, you need to be informed and skilled on how to use your money. But of course, in terms of stability, how long can your money take you? How long can your investments take you? If anything would happen, can you still maintain the kind of lifestyle that you have for you and for your family?
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. That's really well put. Now, Christine, in light of what Isabel has actually explained to us and how she has outlined it, why is financial empowerment and stability important for women, important for women of Kenya, especially women of all ages? Kindly.
Well, the first thing is women are excluded financially, even when it comes to loans, when it comes to inheritance, when it comes to succession issues, when it comes to things like divorce. So women really need to have financial independence because it brings financial freedom, just as Isabel has said. So when it comes to the age, as you've mentioned, the different ages, so when you're in your 20s as a woman, first of all, take care of your health. Health is wealth. So I have to emphasize on that. Invest in your health and then begin to get the disciplines of saving. And then also, you can also explore and experiment different investments because you have the advantage of time when you're in your 20s. So you can take advantage of different investments, experiment, be aggressive, and be adventurous in your investing. Yeah. Between 25 to 35, it's a period to begin to diversify your investments. You don't have to be as aggressive in this time of your life. You can just get into more of balanced investing. You can get into passive investments because passive investments is something you will always need and to become financially independent. So between your 20s to your mid-30s, you can do that. It's also a period where many women have children, so it's a time to have investments for your children's education, very stable investments. And then between your 30s to your 40s, you're now trying to conserve what you already have acquired. You're trying to protect what you've acquired. You also need to have some financial investments which can cater for maybe aging parents as well as your children. So that's the age to do that. And then above 45 into your 50s, you're now looking into sustainability. You're looking into impact investing. What legacy are you going to leave? You also need to look at estate planning, leaving a will or a trust to the people that you love. And if you're in business, how will you pass this business on to your successors? Those are the kind of things you do as a woman in your 40s into your 50s. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really well laid out. I hope everybody has understood the different stages of their lives, of our lives actually, and what we need to be doing. So it's obvious that investments do play a huge role in financial stability. Now, Krupa, what are some of the factors that women should take into consideration when they're thinking about investments? And what are some of the investments in Kenya that favor women?
Right. I think I must what you just mentioned, Catherine just mentioned, was lovely about active and passive income. And I think I would like to probably bring that a little more to light for women. What is really important in when we start making a career as women and we start focusing on my active source of income, which is usually my employment, my business, or whatever I'm doing for a living. Okay. Active source of income is what you do. You wake up in the morning, get up and go to work. That's your active source of income. Now it should be a very constant process of how I can create a passive source of income. That is, every month I get a salary or profit, I take home some money home. Of course, savings is a discipline, like Catherine just said. I believe in that as well. Saving, a part of that, say, I have to have a discipline of having, say, 40% goes into my savings. I gotta do that every month. And then that saving starts forming a part or the foundation of your passive source of income. That saving goes into, say, fixed deposits. 1. Could go into, say, money market tools. 2. It could go into, say, buying a property over a period of time, maybe an apartment or a house or whatever comes into your budget, and that gives you rental income. So what you get from that investment is your passive source of income now. So hopefully by the time you touch 40 or 50, you have a good active source of income, your job or your work or your business, and by then you have created a good pot of passive source of income also, which gives you monthly income coming in. If you fall sick, COVID hits, you lose your job, etc., you know for a fact the active source may be depressed for some time, but the passive keeps coming. And that's the objective. Coming back to your question, Ashiko, you said what are the different tools? Like I said, the most secure tools or the most trusted, bankable tools are fixed deposits in the bank. And the bank I know is right there, and it's a very safe, secure place to be. My fund sits there, I get a regular interest, fixed interest every month, nothing to worry, that's about that. But of course, what is important to also keep in mind while planning a portfolio for yourself is the various factors that define a portfolio. Now, what is a good portfolio like? So, for example, I would like to first of all, most importantly, ascertain my risk appetite. How risky should my portfolio look like? Am I somebody who wants to be in stocks? Maybe not entirely. Am I somebody who wants to be entirely in fixed deposit? After a certain point in life when I'm feeling very secure, I could be a little aggressive in my investments, It's, I think, defined by your age category, which age bracket are you in? How risky do you want your investments to be at this point? So for example, if I'm 50 plus and I've retired, I wouldn't want to indulge in risky investments because that's all I've got. I've stopped working now, But if I'm, say, 30 plus and I've got a good source of income coming, I can take some risks here and there. I don't really mind, So it's about, first of all, ascertaining in your head, what's my risk appetite? And how much of the portfolio do I want to risk in things like stock market, etc. If I am very risk averse, I would recommend investments like tools like, say, infrastructure bonds, which are tax-free bonds, fixed income product, government product, fairly secure. If I want something more short-term, secure, I would say a fixed deposit, 3 months, 6 months, money stays liquid. Any crisis happens, money is at arm's distance. I can get the money when I want. If I'm planning my children's education, say 20 years from now, my son becomes 18 or 20 and he needs to get the money, then I would be more planning like savings plans that are more long-term. There are so many savings plans out there, like for child education, for your personal retirement saving, pension plans, so many out. There's so many companies offering you different diversified products. So there's a lot of stuff out there. But what is extremely important, I think the first step of any investment journey is to ascertain, 1, your goal. Where do you want to be? What should the money do for you? What do you want the money to achieve in, say, 10 years or 5 years or 3 months, whatever it is? The risk appetite, how risky should the portfolio look? Diversity in the portfolio, you cannot possibly put everything you have, like they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You are diversified across different baskets. If one basket tends to move too much, the other baskets keep you secure. And the tenure of investments. How long do you want to lock your money? In which basket? So there are various aspects, but the good thing is, first of all, set your goal and then start working towards it.
Thank you so much. That's really well put. So when we're talking about investments, Isabel, what are some of the challenges? Because I like how everything has been outlined and it looks very good on paper, but yet people are still not investing.
True.
People are still struggling. What are some of the challenges that women in Kenya face while trying to attain financial independence?
Thank you for that. I think one of the main things that basically hinders everyone from doing something is just the fear. Everybody has fear of the unknown. You don't know what you're getting into. For example, even getting to the fact that you want to do an investment or starting a saving, you're not even sure, like the companies that are there, how well they will cater for your finances, how well they'll be able to cater for your savings. So the fear of the unknown, and we always say that fear is the false evidence appearing real. Yes. So most women are really fear starting off projects or starting off the savings and investments as opposed to men. Men are very fast in even taking a risk. But for women, I think fear is a challenge and we need to overcome that. Secondly, also the upbringing, the cultural upbringing. Our norms, even before, when we were brought up, a woman was supposed to be the second place.
Yes.
You could not be richer than a man, ideally, or a brother would not do better than you. You were supposed to be second place. So I think the cultural upbringing was also a bit, has contributed to our challenges in becoming financially independent. But nowadays we have seen the change. There's so much change and women are doing big things. And especially when they come together, have that confidence that they can be able to do that. I think thirdly is financial illiteracy.
Yes.
Women don't know where they're supposed to get this information from. Unless I talk to a friend, for example, like Christine, and I ask her, I saw you have bought a new car, I saw your children go to a very good school, how did you manage that? Yes. People don't know where to get this information. Financial illiteracy has really brought us down. But right now, like even Google is a university by itself. If you pop into Google and just Google about financial literacy, then you're able to get that information. So back then we didn't have so much information, but right now everything has now really come out, and we are seeing now women getting into better projects and in getting financially empowered.
Wow, that's really well put, especially on the aspect of financial literacy. And you're right, women, since time immemorial, were not considered, you don't discuss money.
Yeah.
Even our grandmothers were not allowed to talk about money. So now that we are getting to an age where there's all this, the internet is a treasure trove of information.
Sure.
Of course, then there are ladies like my panelists who are here who can advise you. So at home, sit down and ask yourself, what can I do? How can I better myself? How can I work towards financial empowerment? Because that is the one way that you actually get to control your life. Now, what are some of the 5 best practices, Christine, that women who are watching us right now, after we've talked about everything, they can adopt? What are the 5 best practices that women can adopt to be and to remain financially stable and empowered?
5 best practices. The first would be just to live within your means. Live within 60% of your income, just like Krupa said. Live within 60% so that the 40% you can invest, you can save, you can also have some fun with that 40%, but live within your means. That's the first one. The second one is when it comes to personal use assets, that's like a house, a car, make sure you have additional incomes to sustain the house and the car, because sometimes these can just be assets which consume and you can't afford them. So make sure you can have other sources of income to sustain personal use assets like the car and the house. The third one would be women, especially African women, we cater for the whole community. So we give a lot. We have harambees, fundraisers, and all that. So gift appropriately. When you're in those spaces where you need to give, have boundaries, have a cap. I would advise only 5% of your income should be for gifting, harambees, fundraisers. Cap it at that. Because if you don't, you can end up giving everything away. True. The fourth one, to continuously invest. Just like Isabel said, the fear. Don't have that fear. Don't procrastinate. Invest every single month. And it's a marathon. The path to wealth is a marathon. So it's little by little every month. So continuously invest. And the very last one, surround yourself with other like-minded women. Financially empowered women, like-minded. They all have a goal. They all have a place they want to be. They have the same vision. Join investment groups. Just be around women like yourself. And also consult experts just like us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I already feel financially like I know so much. How many people have been taking notes? I've been taking mental notes right here. Now, before we go on break, what advice, Ms. Rupani, would you give our sisters at home who are watching? Because this is all information overload. Yeah. And they're thinking, okay, I have all the tools. I have how do I move? Because there are all these good factors, but what kind of advice would you give someone who's watching and thinking, where do I start?
Right. I'm going to, I think, repeat Catherine's line. Wealth, the path to wealth is a marathon. And we got to start from there. The first step is where we start. So first is goal setting. Let's set a goal that every month I got to take care of 40% goes into my savings. Or maybe even further before, let's get a job. These days, women are making strides, they're taking leaps. So there's nobody being second anymore, it's about equality. So first of all, get out there, get a job, just be self-employed or whatever it takes to basically have your own financial stability, own independence basically. It may be small or big. It may be a very small start, which may look like it's not enough, it's not good enough, justifying your time, but let's start somewhere.
Yes.
And rightly said, it's a marathon. So once you start earning your own money, taking care of your family, it's so gratifying, it is so uplifting, it's so good for your self-esteem. It's great for you to take a stand in your family, in the society. It goes a long way in just establishing who you are, to be financially on your own. So yes, I would say, please, first of all, get out there, whatever you are. If you are not employed, there's no source of income. First step, get a job, do something for yourself. And when you have some money coming in, plan your life. Like she said, live within your means. It's not a race. It's not you getting better than anybody else. You gotta live within your means, be better than what you were yesterday, and that is that. So we gotta start with that. Small step, baby steps.
Baby steps. I like that. I like living within our means, because I think most of us, especially in the age of the social media,
Yes.
and we are always looking at the people. Someone has bought a new car. I'm going to buy a new car. Someone has bought this, and so we are finding ourselves constantly in a rat race to keep up with the Joneses, without knowing that the image or the reality behind those pictures is very, very different.
true. So
So
true.
people are on all these loan apps and all of those things, and some of them I'm even guilty myself. You know, where you're sitting down and you're thinking, why can't I always seem to catch a break? I'm always existing from paycheck to paycheck. So I think that's also a lesson to most of us at home. You know, live within your means. You know, live within your means. Start from somewhere. If you do not have an income generating job, or, you know, just find something, start from somewhere. And I loved what you said, Krupa. It is very gratifying.
Absolutely.
And it will make you feel so much better as a person. Now, before we go on a break, Isabel, do you feel like the government does enough to empower women to stand on their own? We already know all about traditionally. You know, women could not have a bank account. Women could not do this. Women could not do this. You know, we were always kneecapped. But right now, in this generation, the 21st generation, do you feel like the government is doing enough to empower women?
Thank you. The government has tried. It has not done enough, and there's always room for improvement. So right now, what I know is that at least now we can be able to see a lot of representation, even in the parliament, and even in the women taking up very good seats in terms of representing us and talking about our issues. So the government has a lot of things to do. But the fact that now we have the women that are already in the places that of leadership, I am sure the steps will be taken to give us much more freedom for that financial empowerment. The other thing I would want to say, we always don't want to wait for the government to do things for us.
Yes.
I am a person, you're a person. I mean, you have a lot of potential. Women have a lot of potential. So we do not have even to wait for the government to give us this platform or this platform. For example, on the tendering bit, we can see now 30% of women are now doing tenders, are given tenders freely, and they can be able to do that and make their money. But you don't have to wait for the government to do something for us. I am the government. You are the government. So let everybody have that initiative. As Krupa is saying, take that initiative of making an income. We already have a lot of potential in us. And I like the fact that the system, also the CBC system currently, is also training us on doing practical things.
Yes.
So if I can be able to make some booties for children, I can be able to sell them. We don't have to wait for employment or jobs, white-collar jobs. We are now very able to use our skills to be able to make money. So yes, the government has a lot of improvement to do, but so far they have tried. There is never enough. But then, as individuals, as women, let us take up that action. Let us take that baby step, as Krupa is saying, to be able to earn a living.
Yes.
It is basically just earning a living. It doesn't have to come from a white-collar job. You can do something and make money, even online or internet jobs are there. But just take that step and move.
Thank you so much, Isabel. You know, that was actually coming from the notion that there was a clip that went around about serikali tafadhali. And you know, and women have always been known the people for stretching. Kunyosha mkono tu kushinda kuomba. Nisaidie sako, kanisa, mzee, unajua kila mtu. So my call to action today for you at home, you know, instead of waiting for the government to step in, instead of waiting for the church to step in, instead of waiting for well-wishers to step in, what are you doing in your little corner? What are you doing what are the steps that you're taking to ensure that you are financially empowered, to ensure that you're financially stable? And that is the best note for us to go on a break. We will be right back for the question and answer session. welcome back. Now, we are moving to my favorite part of the show, which is the question and answer session. And I know you at home, you also have very, very many questions. So please ensure that you keep us engaged on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Let us know what you think of what we are discussing today. So today we're going to jump into our question and answer segment where my wonderful audience will get to interact with my panel. So to start us off, we have Maureen.
I have a disabled kid, so I normally get funds from the donors. So how do I balance the donors' fundings and my savings?
Okay. That's a fair point. We have to go back to basics. We spoke about, number one, living within your means, bottom line. So what I think we should do, just to kind of, and second, I think it will also play in your case very well, is self-discipline. Now, what will have to, probably you can start your month by, first of all, this is what you have from donors, say an X amount. You must chart out your monthly expenses for your child. And exactly, if you feel like your monthly projected expenses, plus 10% of, say, miscellaneous expenses you foresee coming in, and if you feel that's already exceeding what you have from the donors, you are in a place where you can probably cut down the expenses. It's all about, believe you me, financial independence, financial planning, wealth planning, achieving your wealth. It's all about planning. It's about clarity of vision. So if you know I have X for the month of April, say a figure of 10,000, you have to ensure that the expenses are well within 10,000. They should be 8.5. So you have a buffer of 15% in there, which takes care of any crisis which may arise. Because and also self-discipline. I mean, I know it may be hard, it's your child. You don't want to kind of slip into impulse purchases, impulse buying. It's about self-discipline, about planning your monthly expenses. And I think also in the process, just see how you can get other donors to kind of come in. If you think like it's just not working out with a particular donor, probably have more donors to help you in the process of raising your child. Think outside the box, maybe increase your monthly inflows. And you can maybe then say, okay, now I'm making more money per month. I can now inject 10% of my earnings too in my child's, raising my child. So I think it's about planning yourself a little better and planning in advance. You don't want to be caught in the month end in a soup where, oops, I'm just in a place where I have nowhere to go now. It's all about planning and where you're going.
Thank you so much, Krupa. I think that's actually a very, very essential question, especially for women and women of all ages. But let me focus especially for women with children at home. It is not, we cannot wait until the last minute. And most people always have that, that happening where it's the 15th or the 16th of the month and you're flat broke, and yet you have kids to take care of. So I think it's very good to have some foresight. It's also very good to plan and to work within your means, especially when you're dealing with this is what I have, and self-discipline. And I know most of us really struggle with discipline and impulsiveness. You want to buy yourself a pair of shoes, you want to buy yourself a handbag. So I think having a plan and having goals is definitely a way to go. So thank you so much. I hope your question has been answered, Maureen. Our next question comes from Judy.
For me, I have a challenge whereby my concern mostly is with the WhatsApp groups. We have several WhatsApp groups that we get involved in, weddings, kids, party, and all that. But for me, I would like to know the guidance that is it an investment? Because you find that yourself that you're contributing in WhatsApp groups, and sometimes you'll find yourself in the same situation you need to be contributed for. And no one is contributing for you. So how is it, one, a financial something that you should get into? Two, if not, then what are the guidelines, apart from the goodness of our hearts that we have? Because I think a lot of people are in a situation whereby you need to give and give and give, and you don't receive in a situation that you yourself want to receive.
And I know that very many people at home also experience that. Every other day you're welcomed to a new WhatsApp group. Mara, it's for birthdays. Mara, it's for, it's for baby shower. It's for this, it's for that. And you mentioned something about boundaries. How do we draw those boundaries without alienating our friends? Because, no man is an island. So how do we assist? How do we contribute without necessarily having a huge chunk? Someone once complained and said, hii mwezi ni ma contribution too. How do you not get to that stage of kila siku ni WhatsApp group, baby shower, birthday, road trip, chama? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Judy. It's a challenge women face your whole life. So the boundary, like I mentioned earlier, would be to cap it at 5%. So what does that mean? Put aside 5% in a different investment or account, which you know is for contributions. Now, when you max out the 5%, which tends to happen, ask your friends if you can donate your time. You can be present for them in another way. You can run errands for them. When it comes to, say, weddings, you can be the person receiving the gifts. You can be an usher. You can even get your friends to come through. You can negotiate with caterers for them. You can negotiate with bakers for them. And that will be a way of you contributing. So that's a way you can contribute. Now, if you find that it's someone very close to you, but you don't have the money, just tell them you actually are committed, your funds are committed, which should be the truth, because the idea is to have your money working for you in investments. So it's not even in your bank account.
I like that idea, you know, money does not necessarily need to be switching hands. Yes,
If I may just add to that, you know, I do completely agree that oftentimes we have a situation where our 5% or whatever number we have in mind is now done. You know, I think women also, just for the sake of self-development, if I may, need to cultivate this lifestyle or this mindset of just putting your foot down. Because oftentimes I feel women, they land themselves in situations where they don't want to be, but they're there because they thought they had no choice. I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, I just got there and I'm here. And then these situations will happen once, twice, and it continues. It could be with your family, could be with your friends, could be with your social network, could be anywhere. And it could be in different ways, different shapes and forms. You have to cultivate a lifestyle, a thought process, a mindset where you can say, look, I can't. That's it. And it has to come from right within. Because otherwise, it'll not just be financial, it'll be emotional stress, it'll be financial, it'll just be stress in different shapes and forms in your life. As long as you just keep giving in. So I guess it's just something that has to happen here before it happens here.
Yes, yes, Isabel.
Yeah, just to add on that also, it is also, we are talking about financial empowerment. So we are also telling you that in the financial services sector, we also have products that take care of such needs. For example, if a WhatsApp comes and you're being called for to contribute towards a funeral, there are already funeral covers that are being sold out there. So you're the one to now give this information out there. The insurance companies and the banks also, what we call bank assurance, is also now giving such products. So a funeral is no longer an emergency nowadays because those products are there either for individuals or for groups. A birthday is not an emergency.
So let's just move on to the next question, please. We have a question for Sheila. From Sheila, that's actually for Krupa. Yes, Sheila.
Okay, my question is about women living with disabilities. So I was asking, what are the opportunities of women living with disabilities when it comes to business or investments?
Thank you. That's a good question.
Thank you for the question. Well, I think it's unfortunate, sorry for that, but for women who are kind of living with disabilities, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of opportunities out there for people who have jobs. I mean these days, even in places like banks or corporates where they have a desk job and somebody who can probably be stationed in one place, they get jobs like these. I'm sure places out there employ people with disabilities and just doing what you're good at and monetizing that. So if I'm good at knitting, for example, I could knit scarves or shawls, or I could knit, say, whatever I'm good at. It's about basically maximizing your strength and monetizing it, you know. So it could probably be something you're good at doing, or if you're a bunch of friends, you can probably tie up with them and say, look, I can do this, can you sell it for me? I can make this at home. I know some women out there who are in their 50s and 60s, who are in an age where they can't do much, not really educated. They cook from home and supply food. So I think it's all about just knowing what you can do, what you're good at doing, learning new skills if you may. And if nothing else, there are a lot of online jobs these days.
There are also various bodies that register persons with disabilities. And it's always important, especially for persons living with disabilities or differently abled women, to have access to actually look for information, because there are certain forums that actually give out this kind of jobs, this kind of support. So the information is out there. We just need to step out of our comfort zones and to actually do something. Sheila, I hope your question has been answered. Our next question is from Kendi.
So, hi. First of all, thank you. The session has been insightful a lot. Then I have a question to Isabel. So what are the kinds of investments we as university students are supposed to invest in? You get, most of the time for money market, they require like huge some amount of money to invest in. But what are we required as university? Like what are some of the opportunities that we can invest in?
Good question.
Okay. Thank you so much. First of all, just to let you get informed, the money market funds start from 1,000
From
shillings.
1,000, yes, it's very cheap.
Long gone are the days where we used to take a deposit of 10,000. So wherever you got 1,000, 2,000, 1,500, you keep inputting into that fund. So the minimal rate for starting a money market fund is 1,000. And other companies also have such funds we call investment-linked packages, where you're also able to start off an investment with 1,000, and you can even put 200 shillings, 300 shillings, 500 shillings. Now that is about, that's a package for university students. And of course, when you're starting those funds, you have to be over 18 years and above. So you need to have an ID copy and a KRA PIN copy. But on the other hand, if you're younger than 18, definitely you can't be younger than 18 and you're in a university. So when you're younger, then there are small groups that you can come into and be able to put money as a small group or junior accounts. But when you're in the university, it is good to have even some associations where you're able to mix up with your friends, be able to put in some funds and invest together, and that money now gives you an interest on top of that. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much. I believe the next question is from Redemptor. Redemptor, karibu sana.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Redemptor. My question goes to Isabel. I wanted to ask about, like, not necessarily controlling shares of a company, but I want to buy relevant shares in a company. And when buying shares, I have to have certain information about the performance of that company. How do I access that information?
Okay, very good. So accessing information is all over. Every financial services provider has a website where you can easily go and check out their finances or the track records and what they've been able to do. The other thing, the banks and the insurance companies, basically, everybody working in the financial industry, they normally give post their finances on the dailies or the rates on the dailies. So if you look at the newspapers from Tuesday to Friday, you'll be able to get that information. This company is doing at this rate. Yesterday they sold at this rate. They're buying at this rate. So that information is readily available on the dailies. And of course, we also get the dailies even on our phones, the e-daily papers. So that information is always there and also in the websites. The other thing that we do when we're talking, giving people education on the finances, we even go to institutions and pitch event tents. I'm sure you have seen even maybe, for example, in a university, you can see NCBA Bank there or KCB Bank there with a tent, but people tend to ignore. You just bypass. But that is information that is being given also in various institutions. The people are coming, financial institutions are coming where you are to give you that information and that platform to be able to get all that information. Starting off a stock market, of course, there's something that you need, we call a CDS account. So that one, I think you'd have to reach us, but the same information is also online. But when you get into with a person who is an individual person in the financial services sector, they'll be able to give you those guidelines to be able to get into a stock market platform.
So we have our next question coming from Esther. I believe it's Esther. Yes, Esther, dear.
Hi, my name is Esther, and my question goes to Christine. So we have different loan apps, and most of us have become victims of borrowing from these loan apps. You can borrow from this app, then you'll use your money to pay the other app that you borrowed from, and the cycle just goes on. So how can you advise us to maybe avoid these apps? And also, what's the limit of borrowing from these loan apps?
That's such a good question, Esther, and it affects a lot of Kenyans. The first question is, before you borrow, ask yourself, why are you borrowing that money? We keep going back to living within your means. But again, the apps shouldn't be the first place to borrow. There's a hierarchy of getting good debt or getting capital. And the first place to get good debt or good capital is from friends and family. Now remember, you have to have addressed the why. So it has to be an important reason why. Begin with friends and family. When you exhaust that, you can go to now your peers who might be doing a bit better than you, but they know and believe in what you're doing, or they know and believe your business, or they know and believe where you work. Then you can go to now that kind of peer. Then from there, you can look at SACCOs. I always advise people to join SACCOs because it's a good place to get capital, and it's less interest than banks. So you can again look at SACCOs. SACCOs, you need to have built a track record of saving for at least 6 months. Then you can move into financial institutions. Then you can move into banks. So the apps should be the last place to get the debt because the interest is predatory. It is very, very high. It's unaffordable. So try to break the cycle by first asking yourself, why do I need this money? And then, as we've always said, live within your means. Try and discover, maybe I'm overspending in this area of my life. That's why I'm starting to look for this debt, looking for these loans. So it's a continuous process of discipline. It can take you 6 months to build that discipline.
I can just add to that here, to put pen to paper. Let's say, for example, I need 10,000 shillings today, okay? And I have an app sitting there which keeps prompting me and saying, come, you know, they keep having messages coming on your phone.
Yes.
And they keep inviting you, exciting you.
Borrow 10, pay back 50.
Exactly. Imagine. So I think when I say pen to paper, I mean, okay, I need 10,000 shillings. And this, they're giving me at 10%, say, per month, I'm assuming, right? Put it on paper. If I'm going to take this loan for this many days, this 1 month, I am paying 1,000 shillings per day, per month for 10,000. Put it on paper and see for a month, year, I end up paying this much. Is it making sense? Am I generating the kind of income from this to justify that interest I'm paying every month? See, it's all about, again, live within your means, self-discipline, you know, and surround yourself, like Catherine, with people around you who are like-minded, who believe in similar ethics and values. And yes, for everything, put a pen to paper. You're making an investment, what is the interest I'm going to get? Put it on paper, I'm going to get gross 10%. Tax, withholding tax 15%, this much goes. This is what I'm left with. Is this good enough for my month net income? So it gives you great perspective when you put numbers on paper and you can see them. It really it gives you a sense of, is this justified? Should I do this? It'll give you that idea.
Thank you so much, Krupa. Now we're even talking about justifying and living within our means. And at this particular point, means could be subjective. Let's touch a little bit about wants and needs. Because, you know, I can sit and say, I'm living within my means, and I have to do my hair. I have to do my nails. True. So, you know, so it's a very subjective, you know. What may be priority to you may not be priority to me. So how do you go about distinguishing, Isabel, between needs and wants? Very, very quickly.
Okay. That's a difficult question, especially for a woman.
Yes.
But you're saying, yeah, so a need is something that you can't do without. I mean, it has to be done. Like, for example, food, clothing, and shelter. Those are needs. A want can be delayed. It is not so urgent. It is important, yes, but it is not urgent. So when you're doing your simple budgeting, to consider the needs and the wants, you need to have two options. Is it important and is it urgent? Is it urgent but not important? Which is which? So let us be able to do that. And I always tell myself, it's good to have delayed gratification. Those loan apps that you're talking about are the ones that now give us so many wants. We want to compare ourselves with others, as Christine said. I want to have a nice shoe. I had not even planned for it, but I passed by a shop and I saw there was an offer, and I was like, oh, Tala is there, then I can pick up the money and pay. So let us have delayed gratification. And that is what one challenge that women have. We want everything at once.
Yes.
And now.
Instantly.
But if I buy a handbag today, probably the next time I'll have to use it when I'm dressing up and have to match with my dressing, it will be maybe a month from now.
Yeah.
Did I really have to buy it? That was a want, yes, but it was not urgent. So let us be able to distinguish between needs and wants. A need is that thing that you really, really must use or must do. But a want can be delayed just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I like how that has been broken down, because we struggle with that, especially as women, you know, and we feel it's obsessing. There's a wedding that is coming up. I need to have a new outfit. I need to do this. And then you go back to your house and you say, okay, sina manguo, and the closet is from here till there. You know, so I think those are some of the things about delayed gratification. Now, finally, let us hear from Anne. Anne has, I believe, a question or a comment. Anne, karibu sana.
Thank you. My name is Anne Jao. I have liked the session. It is enlightening, and our women should only be empowered to handle the daily obligations. So my comment first is to Christine, the 40-60. It can be applied, yes. But the current status, because we are in the market, I'm also in the finance industry, we meet people and they say, the economy, it's about the economy. The money is not enough. So how do we introduce the 40-60 and ensure that they abide and follow it? Because telling them the 100% that they're getting today is over and above, because when you say 60, it means the 100% that they get, they remove the 40 and make the 60 100. Mm-hmm. And now start their life from there. Mm-hmm. How do you ensure, especially our youth, the people who are leaving universities, getting very good jobs, that they abide in that and start building their wealth? The next question goes to Isabel. This is a good session of empowering women, because women means the world. We have many women in our homes, the villages, our mothers. They're in groups, the merry-go-round, the chamas. They contribute on a monthly basis. They would rather not buy food and wait for the husband to come and buy food in the evening, because the money that they had near chama. Yeah, and that money goes to a bank account. It has been there 10 years ago. The chama was still contributing. But this money is in an account, not even fixed. Because they don't have the vision, I don't know, the cost for saving this money is not well spelled out. How do you advise them? Mm-hmm. And make sure that their money starts working for them, not having a bank account that has millions, yet they are poor. Thank you
so much, Anne. And I think that's actually something that happens a lot, but we'll get to you, Isabel. Yeah. Yes, Christine.
Thank you, Anne. For the 60 plus, the first bit of advice would be for them to look at their portfolio, look at their assets. Many times the 60 plus have idle land, they have properties, they may have agricultural land, they may not be able to farm on it, but they can still monetize from the land. They can lease it out. There are many companies these days who even lease land for 10, 15 years. That will give them passive income over the 10, 15 years. So they can look at the assets they already have and monetize. Now, in terms of them complaining about the economy is never perfect. The markets are never perfect. So investments are never perfect. If they do have like that golden handshake after they've left employment, they can look at very secure investments like bonds. They can also look at annuities. Annuities pay you a fixed amount for a certain term, and it's guaranteed. So they can do that. They can look at hedging their investments with global investments, with the USD or the euro, so that they can also hedge against inflation, because now they're probably stopping to work, but they want their money to grow, so they can also invest abroad in USD, in euros, so that they can secure their retirement. So that would be my advice for the 60 plus. For them as well, they may have to move house. It's a difficult decision, but some of them live in very big houses and it's an empty nest. The children already left. So they may have to move to smaller houses and even lease out the house that they used to live in, just for that extra income. So it is a difficult one, but those are some of the decisions they need to make just to be comfortable. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Isabel?
Yeah, so for the women that are back there in the villages and they have groups and they are contributing, by the way, they have a very good discipline, and I think that's what we need to also have. If a woman in the village would rather not have a meal, as Anne is saying, but make sure that that contribution for the chama has gone. So that is a discipline that we also want to have. And that passion for your money, that is what we also want to have. So in the villages, what you're trying to do, and I would also want your help as the audience who are watching us, let us be able to know some of those groups that are out there. They have been forming their own groups, and they normally meet, I think, on a weekday or even on a Sunday. Give us those leads so that we can be able to reach out to them. Any of the panelists here can be able to introduce them to different forums where their money is now growing. Just, of course, one example that we mentioned about the money market funds. And we have other very many platforms or packages in the financial sector where they can be able to even put their money. It just depends on, they don't have that much information. They don't even know how long they need to save their money or invest their money. So we have those platforms where you can be able to give them either short-term savings or short-term investments or long-term investments based on their need. But let us now know them because we are trying to reach them out, and I would want to urge the insurance companies and also the banking sector industry to be able to reach out as much as possible. And that's why we are also nowadays going even to the churches and to other forums, barazas and all that, just to mention about financial planning so that they can be able to tap into this information. So if you're out there, let us give us these leads so that we can be able to follow them up.
Thank you so much, Isabel, by the way. And you know, that's definitely message piece to camera where for the ladies who are there and you know that they've been changai, you know that your grandmother, you know her, your aunties have been raising money and you do not know where the money goes. Kindly, please reach out to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and we'll be able to link them, you know, with the relevant entities. So we have come to the end of today's interactive, very, very interactive and informative session. And I hope that it has been as beneficial to you as it has been to me. Now, here are my 2 cents, quite literally. So much has been written and spoken in regards to financial empowerment, and especially in reference to women in the 21st century. So financial empowerment is subjective. What does it mean to you? It means different things to different women. What does it mean to you? What does financial stability mean to you? These are some of the questions that I want to pose to you at home. Ask yourself, what does financial empowerment mean to me? And what can I do to achieve it? I think that's definitely a great first step. Outline your goals. Where do you want to go? Do you have the tools that you need to get to where you want to be? So on behalf of my production team at KBC, my location partners, Ma Hotels and Suites, and myself, Ashiko Mbone, I wish you all a fantastic week. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Dadas Show. Bye-bye.